Hello again, dear students, so welcome to another live English lesson. So, just a few moments, please. So today we are going to make a short revision of the past simple tense, and in addition to that, we are going to study the past continuous tense. I know that you haven't received the PDF files concerning the past continuous tense, but it's okay. Inshallah, today I will upload all of the needed materials to your classrooms. اليوم إن شاء الله راح نراجع من الماضي البسيط. بالإضافة لذلك بالإضافة للمواضيع اللي ناخذها إن شاء الله اليوم راح ناخذ الماضي المستمر. أعرف أنه بعد أنتم ما عندكم ملفات الماضي المستمر. It's okay. راح إن شاء الله تستلموها اليوم. راح أنزلها على الكلاس روم بعد المحاضرة. راح يكون يعني حسب معلوماتكم ما راح يكون أكو أسئلة بقدر ما راح يكون أكو شرح. Okay, so let us get started. So we make a revision. Past simple tense. What is the past simple tense? Past simple tense in Arabic it is ماضي البسيط. تمام، زمن الماضي البسيط. So do you remember when we talked about when we use the past simple tense? So do you have any idea when to use the past simple tense? I know that you don't have the PDF file speaking about the uses of the past simple tense, but do you remember anything? Hanan Razwan?
We use the past simple tense when we speak in an action that happened and in the past.
Yes, exactly. So we use the past simple tense to speak about an action that started and finished in the past. I mean, we use it to speak about a complete action that completely finished in the past. يعني نستخدم الزمن الماضي البسيط للتحدث عن حدث معين بدأ وانتهى بالماضي، بالزمن الماضي، حدث مكتمل الحدوث بكل تفاصيله بالماضي. طبعا على عكس مثلا ال present perfect. تذكرون لما حكينا عن present perfect tense we said that it speaks about something, about an action that starts or started in the past and maybe it continues to the present time. ما تذكرون من حكينا عن present perfect قلنا أنه نتحدث باستخدام الزمن المضارع التام، نستخدمه للتحدث عن حدث بدأ بالماضي وممكن أن يكون مستمر إلى الحاضر. بينما past simple tense speaks about an action that started in the past and finished in the past. In addition to that, we said that we use the past simple tense to make a list of actions that started in the past. أيضا لما نتحدث الماضي البسيط ذكرنا أنه نستخدمه للتحدث بعمل قائمة بأحداث كلها حدثت بالماضي. As if you are telling a story. كأنما أنت تحكي story يعني معين، قصة أحداثها كلها بالماضي، فبهالحالة تستخدم الزمن الماضي البسيط حتى تشير إلى هذه الأحداث اللي بدأت وانتهت بالماضي. So this is the past simple tense. Now let us speak about how to form sentences using the past simple tense. How can we form affirmative, negative and interrogative sentences using the past simple tense؟ هسه ننتقل إلى كيفية صياغة جمل باستخدام الزمن الماضي البسيط. تذكروا. So can anyone tell me how to form sentences using the past simple tense? Or I want you now to tell me a sentence, an affirmative sentence in the past simple tense. ممكن تحكوا لي كيفية صياغة جملة باستخدام الزمن الماضي البسيط. Now remember that we are only making a revision. تذكروا أن هاي مجرد مراجعة هسه حاليا، المفترض أن تعرفون هذا الموضوع، الزمن الماضي البسيط. So, any idea how to form a sentence using the past simple tense? I want you to participate and speak to us and tell us how to form a sentence. بدكم تشاركون وتحكوا لنا كيفية صياغة الجملة بس تكتبون. Right? So how to form an affirmative sentence using the past simple tense. When we want to form an affirmative sentence using the past simple tense, we simply follow this form, as we all agree that an affirmative sentence it's always sure to start with the subject, and then comes the verb, which should be in the past form, and then it should be followed by the complement. Or it may be followed by the complement. It's not a should. It's a possibility that maybe we do not have a complement in the sentence. مثل ما نعرف إنه كيفية صياغة جملة مثبتة باستخدام الزمن الماضي البسيط، راح تبدي دائما هاي الجملة مثبتة بالسبجكت اللي هو الفاعل. راح يكون الفاعل طبعا راح يكون متبوعا بالفعل مباشرة. احنا عم نحكي هسه على جملة مثبتة. هذا الفعل راح يكون ويجب أن يكون بالزمن الماضي اللي هو إيش؟ اللي هو التصريف الثاني للفعل بطبيعة الحال. بعدها ممكن يكون أكو complement تكملة الجملة، وممكن ما نحتاج complement، يعني بعض الجمل ما نحتاج complement. So can you give me an example of a sentence, of an affirmative sentence, the past simple tense? Maybe this is the third or fourth time that we speak about past simple tense, that I think that you should know now very well how to form sentences using the past simple tense. So can anyone give me an example about an affirmative sentence in the past simple tense? أعطوني مثال على جملة مثبتة باستخدام الزمن الماضي البسيط. Anyone? Are you sleeping? I want you to participate, to tell us what do you think. You were tired. Now, Mahmoud Suleiman, now we are not talking about verb. It is right, but now we are not talking about verb be. We are talking about other verbs. So, Hanan Ghazwan.
I played tennis 2 years ago.
Well, I played tennis 2 years ago. I played tennis 2 years ago. Yes, so this is an example of a sentence, of an affirmative sentence in the past simple tense. I, subject, played, verb, tennis, and it's 2 years ago. This is the complement. Now, what else? We also have negative sentences in the past simple tense. So how to form a negative sentence using the past simple tense? It should also start with the subject, and then it should be followed by the auxiliary verb did, which should be followed by the negative article not and then the main verb of the sentence, but it should be in its root form, in its base form, an infinitive verb. الجملة المنفية باستخدام الزمن الماضي البسيط لازم تكون أيضا تبدي بفاعل subject وبعدين الفعل المساعد did وبعده إيش أداة النفي not وبعدين يجي الفعل الرئيسي للجملة اللي راح يكون in its root form اللي راح يكون بصيغة الجذر مالته الصيغة المجردة الخالية من أي إضافة. هاي لازم دائما تنتبهوا لها. ما يصير تقولوا مثلا الجملة الماضية مثلا I played football ما ممكن تقولون I didn't played no I played football لازم ايش تكون I did not play football. So this is how to form a negative sentence using the past simple tense. Now we have some examples in the messages. We did not go, Yaqeen says, we did not go to the cinema last week. Noor, I didn't finish my homework yesterday. Duha, my father did not wash his car yesterday. Yeah, so can you give me another example? I mean, I want you to tell it. Use your microphones. An example of a negative sentences, of a negative sentence, sorry, using the past simple tense. No examples. No participation. Ahmed.
I didn't eat breakfast.
I didn't eat breakfast. I, the subject, did the auxiliary verb, not the negative article, eat the main verb of the sentence in its root form. And of course, after it comes the complement. I didn't eat breakfast. Yes, that's right. So now we move to the interrogative sentences. How to form an interrogative sentence using the past simple tense? We form the interrogative sentence in the past simple tense by using also the auxiliary verb did, which should be at the beginning of the interrogative sentence, at the beginning of the question. هسه شلون نصيغ جملة استفهامية باستخدام الزمن الماضي البسيط؟ طبعا أيضا راح نستخدم الفعل المساعد did اللي راح يكون أيضا في بداية الجملة. And it should be followed by the subject and then comes the verb in its root form. And maybe if there is a complement, it should be followed by a complement, and then don't forget the question mark. هاي question mark ولكن ما واضحة شوي يعني حسب الخط على نوع الخط يطلع الشكل. فالجملة الاستفهامية بالزمن الماضي البسيط طبعا أيضا تبدي ب did اللي هو الفعل المساعد وبعدين متبوع يكون بالسبجكت وبعدين الverb اللي هو الفعل the main verb of the sentence لازم يكون in its root form صيغة مجردة أيضا وبعد complement وما تنسون أبد علامة الاستفهام. So examples of interrogative sentences. Did you go to the cinema last week? Yes. Hanan Razwan.
Did you travel to United States Emirates in 2003? Question mark.
Yes. Did you travel to the United States? Did you travel? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, exactly. So this is an example of an interrogative sentence using the past simple tense. Duha Zain al-Abidin, she says, did you complete your homework? Yaqeen says, did you go to the cinema last week? Rana says, did you read a book? Yes. I want you to participate, not write messages. Okay, these are examples of interrogative sentences, and these are the forms that we should follow when we want to write or create or form sentences using the past simple tense. Now, let's get back to another topic that we talked about before, which is the verb conjugation and spelling concerning the past simple tense. It is about changing the verb from its root form, let's say, to its second form, which is the past simple form, past form. So how do we change the verb to its past form? How do we change the verb into its past form? I want you to participate. Try to raise your hand and then tell me how to change the verb into its past form. رأفت مشعل.
We add ed and we have some verb.
So if we want to change a verb into its past form, we add ed to the verb, right?
Yes.
Is it applicable to all of the verbs in English?
Not all.
Why?
There are some verbs كالسواد
صوتك أبد ما واضح.
some verbs كالسواد
ايش نسميه؟ هسه راح نيجي عليهم. قلنا انه باللغة الانجليزية عندنا two thank you concerning how to change the form of the verb. We said that we have two types of verbs, regular and irregular, right? Okay. So now rules of verb conjugation and spelling. Now we are speaking about what? We are speaking about regular verbs. Regular verbs اللي هي الأفعال القياسية. We said that in English we have two types of verbs. One is regular verbs, the other is irregular verbs. Now we are talking about the rules of regular verbs, how to change the verb into its past form. We have multiple rules. احنا عندنا عدة قواعد اللي هي قواعد ايش؟ قواعد تغيير صيغة الفعل إلى صيغة الماضي فيما تتذكرون. The first one is we called it drop. أول وحدة كان نسميناها drop اللي هو إسقاط، يعني إسقاط what؟ ايش نسقط؟ We said this is applicable to the verbs that end in E. So if we have a verb, if we have a regular verb which ends in the letter E, so in this case we have to follow this rule in which we drop the E of the AD and only add D to the verb. هاي القاعدة تتعلق بإيش؟ بالأفعال اللي تنتهي بالحرف E. حكينا أنه إذا كان الفعل ينتهي بالحرف E معناها نتبع هاي القاعدة اللي هي drop، نسقط أو نلغي أو نحذف الإي من الإيدي، فقط نضيف دي للفعل حتى نحوله إلى صيغة الماضي. هذا إيش؟ في حالة أنه الفعل ينتهي بالحرف E. So this is the first rule which we called drop. Okay. So the second one is double, to double. What should we double? Do you remember what should we double? تذكرون إيش لازم نكرر؟ هاي القاعدة كانت تبع إيش؟ Do you remember حنان غزوان? Only you are participating today.
If the verb end of consonant letter, we double the last letter and we add ed.
Yes, so if the verb ends in a consonant letter, and what about the letter which precedes, which comes before the
vowel إذا كان منتهي بconsonant قبل vowel.
Yes, so the second rule is to double. To double what? To double the last letter. So this rule is applicable to the verbs that end in a consonant letter, and this consonant letter is preceded by what? By a short vowel. So if we have a verb that ends in a consonant, and this consonant is preceded by a short vowel, we have to double the last letter, which is the consonant, and then we can add ed to the end of the verb to change it to its past form. يعني هاي القاعدة اللي هي قاعدة تسميها double تكرار. ايش نكرر؟ نكرر الحرف الأخير من الفعل اللي راح يكون حرف صحيح. إذا كان حرف صحيح وقبله حرف علة قصير، بهاي الحالة نكرر الحرف الأخير ونضيف ed حتى نغير صيغة الفعل إلى صيغة الماضي. So this is the second rule. So we have drop and double. The third rule is change. We called it change. So what should we change? Do you remember what should we change? Do you remember what should we change? And with which verbs?
مزدوج.
What should we change? First, you have to raise your hand. Second, tell me what do you mean by مزدوج? Change. We change what? This rule is applicable to the verbs that end in the letter Y when it is preceded by a consonant letter. So if we have a verb in English, if we have, of course, now we are speaking only about regular verbs. If we have a verb that ends in the letter Y and it is preceded by a consonant letter, so in this case we have to change the Y into I and add ed to the verb, to the end of the verb. هاي القاعدة تتعلق بإيش؟ بالأفعال اللي تنتهي بالحرف Y بشرط أن يكون الحرف Y مسبوق بحرف صحيح. بهاي الحالة نغير الحرف الصحيح، عفوا نغير الواي إلى حرف I ونضيف ed. We have another rule which is the basic rule that is applicable to most of the verbs. It's about adding ed, just adding ed to the end of the verb. So this is applicable to most of the verbs, most of the regular verbs in English, that those verbs that do not end in a, that do not end in a consonant which is preceded by a short vowel, and also those verbs that don't end in the letter Y which is preceded by a consonant. So in this case we only add ed. هاي القاعدة الأخرى اللي تطبق على بقية الأفعال باللغة الإنجليزية، الأفعال اللي ما تنتهي بالحرف E، الأفعال اللي ما تنتهي بحرف صحيح مسبوق بحرف علة قصير، الأفعال اللي ما تنتهي بالحرف Y المسبوق بحرف صحيح، بهالحالة فقط نضيف ed. So what else? Now we also know, you remember when we talked about contractions, تذكروا من حكينا على الاختصارات أو الصيغة المختصرة القصيرة اللي هي did not. إيش تكون من نختصرها؟ تكون didn't, right؟ بهذا الشكل. So this is concerning the contractions of the past simple tense. Now, examples now an example of an affirmative sentence is he drank a lot of water. Now, I want you to change this sentence into a negative one. He drank a lot of water. حنان غزوان.
He didn't drink a lot of water.
He didn't drink a lot of water. He didn't drink a lot of. So this is what? This is a negative sentence. Now, an example of an interrogative sentence. I mean, the same one. Try to change it into an affirmative sentence. Change this sentence into an interrogative sentence. 3, 2, 1. Did he drink a lot of water? Did he drink a lot of water? So these are examples of affirmative, negative, and interrogative sentences. He drank a lot of water. He didn't drink a lot of water. Did he drink a lot of water? So that's everything about the past simple tense. Today we are going to start studying the past continuous tense. What is meant by the past continuous tense? What is meant by the past continuous tense? Hanan Ghazwan, only you are participating today.
الزمن الماضي المستمر.
Yes, we mentioned it at the beginning of the lecture. ذكرناه في بداية المحاضرة. So past continuous tense, of course, it is الماضي المستمر, زمن الماضي المستمر. So today, when we are studying the past simple tense, past continuous tense, we are going to know and to study and to learn how to form affirmative sentences. We are going to learn how to form negative sentences using the past continuous tense. We are going to know how to form interrogative sentences using the past continuous tense. And we are also going to know how and learn how to add ing to the end of the verb. We are also going to learn something about the uses of the past continuous tense. And what we are going to study something about the past simple tense and the past continuous tense if they come together in the same sentence. إذا اليوم إن شاء الله راح ندرس كيفية صياغة جملة مثبتة باستخدام الزمن الماضي البسيط، كيفية صياغة جملة منفية باستخدام الزمن الماضي البسيط، كيفية البسيط ولا المستمر؟ المستمر طبعا. كيفية صياغة جملة باستخدام الزمن الجملة الاستفهامية باستخدام الزمن الماضي المستمر وليس البسيط، سوري. استخدامات وكيفية إضافة ing وكيفية استخدام الزمن الماضي البسيط والماضي المستمر معا في نفس الجملة. In addition to doing some exercises. هذا we are also going to complete the studying about page 12 of your book, which is about neighbors. إذا راح نكمل دراسة الموضوع neighbors اللي موجود بصفحة 12 من كتابكم. And we are going to answer certain questions concerning Mrs. Snail and Steve. And if you remember, last time I read what Mrs. Snail says about Steve and what Steve thinks of Mrs. Snail. So today we are going to solve and do these questions. So now past continuous tense. What is meant by the past continuous tense? We said that it is in Arabic, it is الماضي الزمن الماضي المستمر. How to form a sentence? Now this is a question. How to form a sentence using the past continuous tense. How to form a sentence using the past continuous tense. Do you remember when we studied the present continuous tense? We talked a little bit about how to form sentences using using the present continuous tense. So today we are going to study another one which is similar to the present continuous tense. Now, how to form a sentence using the past continuous tense? Okay, so we have an answer in the messages section. Let us see how to form a sentence using the past continuous tense. Sorry? Yes, that's right. So now, how to form an affirmative sentence using the past continuous tense. كيفية صياغة جملة مثبتة باستخدام الزمن الماضي المستمر. past continuous tense الزمن الماضي المستمر. شوفون هاي العلامة الزائد البوزيتيف موجب اللي هي تشير إلى إيش؟ راح نستخدمها لما ما نريد يعني نكتب affirmative، راح تشير هاي للaffirmative. النيجاتيف السالب راح تشير إلى إيش؟ النيجاتيف sentence طبعا. وإذا كان اكو question mark فمعناها interrogative sentence. So easy, right? So how to form an affirmative sentence using the past continuous tense? Of course, an affirmative sentence, like all affirmative sentences, it should always start with a subject. So the affirmative sentence using the past continuous tense, it starts with a subject and then it is followed by verb be. وبعدين طبعا دائما الجمل المثبتة بالزمن طبعا بكل الأزمنة، وخاصة هسه احنا نحكي على الزمن الماضي المستمر. تبدي بإيش؟ تبدي بفاعل subject وبعد الفاعل شكو verb be فعل الكينونة اللي طبعا راح يكون تبعا لإيش؟ تبعا للفاعل مثل ما درسنا سابقا. فممكن يكون am، ممكن يكون is، ممكن يكون are. هاي بحالة ايش؟ بالpresent continuous tense. حاليا احنا نحكي على past continuous tense. ايش راح يكون صيغته؟ هسه راح نشوف. فاذا past continuous tense, the affirmative sentence in the past continuous tense should start with the subject and it should be followed by the verb be, and then comes what? The main verb of the sentence with an ing ending. وبعدين بعد الفعل بي راح يكون عندنا الفعل الرئيسي للجملة اللي راح يكون مضافا إليه ال ing في نهاية الفعل. So this is how to form an affirmative sentence using the past continuous tense. وبعدين طبعا ممكن يكون أكو complement تكملة الجملة اللي راح تكون إيش؟ يعني ممكن تجي أو ممكن ما تجي حسب نوع الفعل. يعني ممكن بعدين نتناول. هسه نيجي على الverb be. ايش راح يكون verb be؟ مثل ما نعرف انه verb be هو ايش؟ فعل الكينونة. بطبيعة الحال طبعا هاي ما وير، هاي are. بطبيعة الحال بالفعل الكينونة بالزمن المضارع راح يكون am is و are not were. ولكن هسه احنا عم نحكي على past continuous tense. اذا الفعل verb to be اللي فعل الكينونة لازم يكون in its past form بصيغة الماضي اللي راح يكون ايش؟ إما was أو were. إما was أو were. Why? Because we are speaking about the past tense. So the verb be should be in its past form. بما انه احنا عم نحكي على الماضي فالفعل الكينونة be لازم يكون بصيغة الماضي. was أو were. الشر راح يجي تبعنا الفاعل. طبعا لما راح يكون الفاعل I راح يكون was. لما راح يكون الفاعل he she it أيضا راح يكون was. So I he she it راح يكون was أو اسم معين راح يكون was إذا كان اسم مفرد. أما إذا كان الفاعل جمع أو أحد الضمائر you we they إذن يجب أن يكون were verb be. إذن was were subject وبعدين فعل be اللي هو راح يكون was aware بعدين verb main verb of the sentence with an ing ending ing. So can you give me an example? Do you have an example in your mind of an affirmative sentence in the past continuous tense? شيماء محمود.
I was living in Paris.
I was living in Paris. In Paris. Okay, that's right. I, subject, was, verb be, living, main verb of the sentence with an ing ending. In Paris, this is the complement. Okay, thank you. I was living in Paris. حنين يقظان.
We were studying English language.
Yes, so we, the subject, were, verb be in its past form. Studying, the main verb of the sentence with an ing ending. So we were studying English, the complements. Yes, thank you. Mustafa Khalid Salim.
She was making coffee when we arrived.
Yes, now you are using both of the tenses, the past continuous tense and the past simple tense. She was drinking what?
She was
you-
making coffee.
She was making coffee when we arrived. Yes. Thank you. Now, Aya Abdul Khaliq.
She was cooking all the morning.
She was cooking all the morning. She spent her morning cooking. Yes. So this is what? This is an affirmative sentence. Now we're talking about affirmative sentences in the past continuous tense. احنا هسه نحكي على الجمل المثبتة باستخدام الزمن الماضي المستمر past continuous tense. So how to form negative sentences using the past continuous tense. كيفية صياغة جمل منفية باستخدام الزمن الماضي المستمر. So a negative sentence in the past continuous tense, it should start with the subject أيضا. طبعا الجملة المنفية باستخدام الزمن الماضي المستمر طبعا راح تبدي أيضا بالسبجكت اللي هو الفاعل. And then it should be followed by verb be to. أيضا راح to هاي أقصد بها أيضا ما to. أيضا راح تكون متبوعة بالفعل فعل الكينونة verb be. And then comes what? The main or what? No. Comes the negative article not. So in the past continuous tense, we do not make or we do not form the negative sentence using the auxiliary verb did, but we use the auxiliary verb be, just like what we do in the affirmative sentence. So the negative sentence starts with the subject and then verb be and then not the main verb. And then comes what? The main verb of the sentence in its ing form. يعني الجملة هسه المنفية بالزمن الماضي المستمر راح تبدي أيضا بالسبجكت الفاعل بعدين verb be فعل المساعد be اللي راح يكون طبعا أكيد فعل مساعد فعل الكينونة بعدين لازم يجي أداة النفي not وبعدين الفعل الرئيسي للجملة بصيغة ال ing. طبعا ممكن يكون أكو complement بعدين. So subject be not verb, main verb in its ing form, and then a complement. So, example of a negative sentence using the past continuous tense. Hanan Ghazwan.
I wasn't spending a lot of time in the library.
I wasn't spending.
I wasn't spending a lot of time in the library.
So I wasn't spending a lot of time in the library. I, subject, was, verb be, not, wasn't, أصبحت بعدين spending a lot of time in the library. I was playing PlayStation, not spending a lot of time in the library. I was sleeping, not participating in the lecture. Muhammad Raslan.
She wasn't study in the home.
She wasn't studying, right?
Studying in the home.
Yes. She wasn't. هسه لما نجيب كلمة home راح تصير يعني مكان تشير كلمة تشير إلى المكان باستخدام كلمة home هي بالذات. فممكن تقول she wasn't studying at home. At home, not in the home. Right? مع الهوم يجي at.
Thank you, Mr.
Don't mention it. So she wasn't studying at home. Subject, verb be, not, main verb in its ing form, and at home. Noor Rakan.
They were not watching TV yesterday.
Yes. They were not on TV yesterday. Shayma Mahmoud.
I wasn't working yesterday.
I wasn't working yesterday. I, subject, was, verb be, not, هي أداة النفي not, working yesterday, complement. Yes, so these are examples, thank you everyone, of negative sentences. Hanin Yaqwan, do you have something to say?
Yes, like he wasn't traveling to Dubai.
He wasn't traveling to Dubai. Yes, he wasn't traveling to Dubai. Yes. Aya Ahmed, do you have an example?
Yes, I wasn't reading a lot of message in communication website.
I wasn't reading.
Yes.
I wasn't reading a lot of messages. I wasn't reading messages. I, subject, wasn't, be plus not, reading, verb ing, messages, they complement, and blah blah blah. Yes, now we move to what? To how to form interrogative sentences using the past continuous tense. هسه ننتقل إلى كيفية صياغة جمل استفهامية باستخدام الزمن الماضي البسيط المستمر. So pay attention here that with interrogative sentences, with questions, the sentence should start with what? With verb be. الجملة باستخدام الزمن الماضي المستمر، الجملة الاستفهامية باستخدام الزمن الماضي المستمر يجب أن تبدأ بالفعل المساعد be، فعل الكينونة be، اللي طبعا راح يكون إما was or were. So it starts with the verb be and then it should be followed by the subject of the sentence, of the question, which should be followed by the main verb of the sentence in its ing form. And then, of course, may come complements. And at the end, we should have a question mark. إذن الجملة الاستفهامية باستخدام الزمن الماضي المستمر راح تكون تبدي بالفعل be اللي هو فعل مساعد be، فعل الكينونة، وبعدين subject الفاعل، وبعدين الverb الفعل الرئيسي للجملة بصيغة ing، وبعدين complement اللي هي طبعا ممكن تكون، ممكن ما شرط، ممكن تكون موجودة أو لا موجودة، اللي هي تكملة الجملة، بس أهم شيء تكون علامة الاستفهام موجودة. Remember that now we are only speaking about the yes-no questions, the yes-no kind of interrogative sentences. We are not talking about the WH questions using the past continuous tense, because we are supposed to deal with the WH questions separately. ذكروا الناس حاليا احنا فقط عن ندرس الاستخدام اليس نو questions، انواع اليس نو، اسئله اليس نو، وليس اسئله ال WH questions. I mean we only now is studying closed questions, not the open questions, because we are going to deal with the WH questions separately. I mean we're going to study them in all of the sentences that we know. لأن احنا بعدين راح ندرس ال WH questions، أسئلة ال WH بعدين في وقت آخر إن شاء الله راح نتناولها كلها بالتفصيل بكل الأزمنة. So we are only now speaking about yes/no questions. So a yes/no question, an interrogative sentence using the past continuous tense, it should always start with the verb be, and which of course it should be followed by the subject, and then the main verb of the sentence in its ing form. And it should be followed by the complement, or it may not be followed by a complement. I mean, it depends on the verb on the sentence. And then the most important thing is the question mark at the end of the interrogative sentence. So, can anyone give me an example of an interrogative sentence using the past continuous tense? Shayba Mahmoud?
Was she studying when you arrived?
Yes. Was she studying when you arrived? Was, verb be. She, this is the subject. Studying, which is the main verb of the sentence in its ing form. And the complement when you arrive. And again, you are using a kind of sentence which contains two types of tenses, which are the past continuous tense and the past simple tense. Yes, thank you, Shima. Ahmed. Ahmed.
Where are they going yesterday?
Were they going yesterday? Well, let us change it a little bit. Were they going to the mall yesterday? Right? So thank you. Taha Abbas.
Was he sleeping today?
Was he sleeping today? Was, verb be, he, subject, sleeping, verb plus ing, and complement today. Yes, thank you. Mustafa Khalid Salim.
Were you working last day?
Were you working last day? Were you working last day? Just something to mention here, as I told you before, you have to pay attention to how to pronounce things, how to use the tone of the questions. انتبهوا لاستخدام التون مالتكم بالسؤال. يعني ما ممكن تقول was she working yesterday? No, you are now making an interrogative sentence. So you should say, was he sleeping yesterday? Was he working yesterday? حنين يقظان.
Was she going to the mall yesterday?
Was she going to the mall yesterday? Yes. Was she going to the mall yesterday? So these are examples of interrogative sentences. Thank you. And this is how we form sentences using the past continuous tense. Now we have the contractions, الاختصارات. As you know, if we have were not, were plus not, we can write it in this way. إذا كان عندنا were not ممكن نكتبه weren't بهالطريقة. إذا كان was not ممكن نكتبه بهالطريقة أيضا wasn't. هاي شيء تعرفونه بس للتذكير عشان تختصرون were not وال was not. Okay, now examples. He was reading a book. This is an affirmative sentence. He was reading a book. Now, Mustafa Khalid, can you turn this affirmative sentence into a negative one?
He wasn't reading a book.
Yes, he wasn't reading a book. or he was not reading a book. Yes, exactly. Now, can you change it to an interrogative sentence?
Was he reading a book?
Was he reading a book? Was he reading a book? Yes, exactly. Again, don't forget the question mark. مرة أخرى تنسون ال question mark علامة الاستفهام. Okay, so now we deal with the ing spelling rules. How to add ing to the verbs. If you remember, we talked about such rules when we studied the present continuous tense. حكينا عن هاي القواعد باستخدام لما درسنا الزمن المضارع المستمر present continuous tense. So it's just a revision, a repetition of these rules, of those rules, sorry. But maybe now it's more obvious. ممكن تكون هالمرة أوضح، ولكن هي نفس معادلة القواعد اللي أخذناها، بس بإضافة كيفية إضافة ing لما درسنا المضارع المستمر. So the first rule, of course, we only add ing to the end of the verbs. Basically, we have to add ing to the verbs. This is about most of the verbs. Most of the verbs in English. We can only add ing. Okay. The second rule is that when we have a verb that ends in a consonant plus the verb E, if we have a verb that ends in the letter E, which is preceded by a consonant, so in this case we have to omit the E and add ing. What is meant by omit? ايش معنى كلمة omit؟ يعني نمسح، نلغي، نحذف. So if we have a verb that ends in the letter A and the letter A is a consonant letter, so in this case we have to omit the E and add ing. إذا كان عندنا فعل ينتهي بالحرف E وقبل الحرف E أكو حرف صحيح، بهاي الحالة نحذف الحرف E ونضيف ing. So this is what we do with verbs that end in the letter E. هذا الشيء نعمله مع الأفعال اللي تنتهي بالحرف E وقبله يكون أكو consonant. So this is the second rule. The third rule is when we have a verb that ends in the letters IE, so in this case we have to change the IE into Y. إذا كان عندنا فعل ينتهي بالحرفين IE مثل die مثلا، بهالحالة يجب أنه نغير ال IE إلى الحرف Y وبعدين نضيف ing. حنان رضوان.
دكتور، هي مو 3 أفعال شاذين dying lying tying، بس هذول اللي ينتهون ب IE نحذفهم، نحذف ال IE ونضيف ing.
نعم، ونقدر احنا ناخذها أيضا كقاعدة أنه لما يكون IE الفعل ينتهي بال IE ممكن نشوف بعدين أفعال أخرى، فبالحالة نحذف ال IE ونغيرها طبعا we change it into Y and add ing. Right? The other rule, the fourth rule, is that it's about verbs that end in a consonant and which is preceded by a vowel. Should be one vowel. So in this case we have to double the consonant. We have to double the last letter of the sentence. أيضا هسه القاعدة الرابعة هي بخصوص الأفعال اللي تنتهي بحرف صحيح واحد يكون مسبوق علة واحد. بهاي الحالة يجب أن sorry you have to mute your microphone please. Okay, بهاي الحالة we have to double the consonant. We have to double the last letter. بهاي الحالة لازم نكرر الحرف الأخير للفعل وبعدين نضيف ing. So this is rule number 4. Now before I go on, just want to make you to let you know that maybe I experience some disconnection. So if we experience such a thing, please wait for me. ممكن يكون عندي انقطاع بالاتصال، فإذا صار الشيء رجاء انتظروني، أنا موجود، راح أدخل لكم مرة أخرى. So هذه القاعدة الرابعة. So what else? Do we have another one? No, but we have an exception. Exception to what? Exception to rule number 4. What is meant by an exception? ما معنى كلمة exception?
الاستثناء.
Yes. So exceptions to rule number 4. If we have a verb that ends in the letters, in one of the letters, I mean, X or Y or W, and these letters, this one letter is preceded by one vowel, so in this case we only have to add ing. إذا كان عندنا الفعل، احنا قلنا أنه القاعدة الرابعة تقول إذا كان الفعل ينتهي بحرف صحيح واحد وقبله حرف علة واحد، بهالحالة لازم نكرر الحرف الأخير ونضيف ing. لكن كاستثناء هاي القاعدة أنه إذا كان الحرف الصحيح هو أحد هاي الأحرف X أو Y أو W ويكون قبله طبعا حرف علة، بهاي الحالة فقط نضيف ing، ما نكرر الحرف الأخير. So this is an exception to rule number 4. أيضا another exception, we have another exception. Now if the verb contains more than one syllable and the last one is not stressed. إذا كان أكو بالفعل أكثر من مقطع والمقطع الأخير ما يكون التركيز عليه واضح، يعني التركيز يكون على مقطع آخر، بهالحالة يجب أنه ما نكرر الحرف الأخير. هسه راح نشوف. Now we have an exception to this exception. هسه هذه القاعدة الرابعة قلنا أكو بها هذا الاستثناء، أنه إذا كان المقطع الأخير من الفعل ما يتم التركيز عليه معناها لازم ما نكرر الحرف الأخير. طبعا من نحكي مقطع يعني معناها مثل ما ذكرت لكم بداية دراستنا أنه المقطع يتحدد بالفاولز. مثلا كلمة one هاي بها مقطع واحد، مثلا كلمة ending هاي مقطعين، ending مقطعين حسب الفاولز اللي موجودة بالكلمة. إذا كان المقطع الأخير بالفعل ما يتم التركيز، غير يعني ما واضح not stressed، التركيز يكون على مقطع آخر مثل كلمة travel، مثل ما تشوفون travel التركيز يكون على المقطع الأول tra وليس على المقطع الثاني. بالحالة الطبيعية أنه if it is not if we have it like this, so we have not to double the last letter. بهالحالة بما أنه التركيز ما على المقطع الأخير معناها حسب هذا الاستثناء ما نكرر الحرف الأخير، ولكن من الممكن أنه نكرر الحرف الأخير بالفعل travel اللي هو استثناء لهذا الاستثناء. travel traveling ممكن نكرر. we may and we can double the last letter which is the letter L. But this is what? This is only in a British English. هاي فقط بالإنجليزية البريطانية، باللهجة البريطانية فقط نقدر نعمل هذا الشيء. أما بالأمريكي ما يعني عادي ما نكرر الحرف الأخير بإنما نضيف ing، ولكن مثل ما تشوفون هسه مكرر، طبعا هذا خطأ. ولكن بالبريتش English we can double the last letter which is the letter L. So now we have four rules to the verb using the past continuous tense. هسه عندنا هاي القواعد الأربعة بإضافة ing باستخدام يعني نستخدم الزمن الماضي المستمر. Now we move to when to use the past continuous tense. متى نستخدم ال past continuous tense الزمن الماضي المستمر؟ We use it to talk about something that was in progress at a specific time in the past. We use it when we want to speak about an action that was happening at a specific period of time. We use it to speak about an action or something that was taking place at a specific time, at a specific period of time in the past. بمعنى نستخدم الزمن الماضي المستمر للتحدث عن حدث أو شيء معين كان في حالة وقوع، في حالة حدوث خلال فترة معينة محددة من الزمن بالماضي. يعني مثلا لما نقول he was studying كان يدرس، يعني كان بعملية الدراسة، كان يقوم بالدراسة خلال فترة معينة بالزمن الماضي في فترة محددة يعني. So he was studying فترة محددة بالماضي، شيء كان أثناء الحدوث، كان يقع في ذيك الفترة، ف we use the past continuous tense. Now what is watching TV refers to an action that was taking place in a specific period of time in the past. يعني هذه الجملة تشير إلى حدث كان يقع في فترة معينة بالماضي. I was watching TV. We have other examples. They were doing their homework. It was running so fast. Now these are examples of affirmative sentences using both of the forms of verb be, was and were. Was she sleeping? This is an example of an interrogative sentence. Were they walking outside? An affirmative, an interrogative sentence using the past continuous tense. They were not using their phone. Negative sentence using the past continuous tense with this form of verb be, where. He was not playing football. This is another example. So I was watching TV. They were doing their homework. It was running so fast. Was she sleeping? Were they walking outside? They were not using their phone. He was not playing football. These are examples of sentences with the past continuous tense. I mean, affirmative, negative, and interrogative sentences. Now we move to how to use both of the tenses, the past simple tense and the past continuous tense at the same time. So if we have both of the tenses in the same time, so how to use them? شو نستخدمهم في نفس الوقت? We use them together, but when they are used together, the past continuous tense should always refer to the longer action, which was interrupted by another in the past continuous, in the past simple tense. بمعنى أنه لما نستخدم الزمنين مع بعض، دائما الزمن الماضي المستمر يكون يشير إلى الحدث الأطول اللي تم قطعه بواسطة إيش؟ الزمن حدث يعني يكون يعبر عنه بالزمن الماضي البسيط. So we use the past continuous tense to refer to what? To the longer action that was interrupted by another action, which should be expressed by using the past simple tense. Sorry, now I think
طلاب لا حد يخرج هسه يرجع الدكتور.
Sorry, everyone. Unfortunately, there is a problem in my connection, so please wait for me. So you can hear me right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we were speaking about using the past continuous tense and the past simple tense at the same time. We said that when we have them in the same sentence, then now you can see the screen, right? I'm sharing it with you. You can see it, right? تقدرون تشوفون هسه الشاشة أمامكم. ملف الباوربوينت ظاهر أمامكم؟
ظاهر دكتور.
Okay, that's good. So we said that when we have them in the same time, in the same sentence, so in this case, the sentence in the past continuous tense should refer to the longer action. لما نستخدمهم الزمنين سوية في نفس الوقت، معناها لازم يكون الجملة اللي تعبر عنها باستخدام الزمن الماضي المستمر لازم هي تشير إلى إيش؟ الحدث الأطول، بينما الجملة الأخرى اللي تشير إلى الحدث الأقصر لازم تستخدمها بإيش؟ نستخدم بها الزمن الماضي البسيط. مثل ما تذكرون زميلكم ذكر جملة قال لما كنا نحكي عن طريقة صياغة الجمل باستخدام الزمن الماضي المستمر، قال she was making coffee when we arrived. She was making coffee when we arrived اللي هي إيش؟ الزمن الحدث عفوا الأطول the longer action اللي راح يكون إيش؟ she was making coffee. هذا الكلمة هذه الجملة تشير إلى الزمن الأطول she was making coffee when we arrived هو هذا الحدث الأقصر اللي هو طبعا قطع الحدث الأطول، يعني صار كان أكو شيء يحدث في فترة معينة أثناء حدوثه دخل شيء على الخط وعبرنا عنه باستخدام we arrived اللي هو هذا الزمن الماضي البسيط. So examples, now we have another example here, which is I was reading a newspaper when the phone rang. I was reading a newspaper when the phone rang. So what is the longer action? The longer action, of course, is I was reading the newspaper. And so in this case, we have to we have to use the past continuous tense to express and to refer to the longer action. بالحالة لازم نستخدم الزمن past continuous tense الزمن الماضي المستمر للتحدث عن للتعبير عن الحدث الأطول اللي هو I was reading a newspaper، بينما الحدث الأقصر اللي دخل على الخط اللي قطع الحدث الأول the phone rang راح يكون بالزمن الماضي البسيط. So I was reading a newspaper when the phone rang. Okay, now we have to check the exercises, but unfortunately I cannot show you the exercises now because I have a problem in my laptop. So instead of the exercises, try to give me examples of sentences using the past continuous tense and the past simple tense at the same time. يعني حاول تعطوني أمثلة عن جمل بها زمن الماضي المستمر والزمن الماضي البسيط في نفس الوقت. Unfortunately, I do not see if you raise your hand, so ما أقدر أشوف إذا ترفعون يدكم، فمباشرة أعطوني الجمل ولكن بهدوء يعني حتى ما تكون هوسة. Can you give me examples of a sentence containing both of the past continuous tense and the past simple tense?
Yes.
Okay.
She was reading the book when I visited him.
Okay, she was reading the book when I visited him. So the first sentence, which refers to the longer action, is she was reading a book. So in this case, we used the past continuous tense. She was reading a book when I visited him. اللي هي إيش؟ هذا الحدث الأقصر اللي قطع الحدث ذاك. The shorter action that interrupted the longer one. So in this case, we used the past simple tense in the second part of the sentence. So past continuous tense for the longer action, past simple tense for the shorter action. What else? أنا ما أقدر أشوف إذا ترفعون يدكم فشاركوا قبل.
I was doing my homework when Jan arrived.
I was doing my homework when Jack arrived. Yes, again, the longer action is expressed using the past continuous tense, while the shorter one that interrupted the longer action is expressed by the past simple tense. I was what? Can you repeat it? تقدرين تعيديها للجملة؟ Okay, if you can't, another example.
I was driving a car when I made an accident.
Yes, I was driving a car when I made an accident. I was driving a car when I made an accident. Yes, exactly. So now we covered everything about the past continuous tense, and now we know how to form a sentence using the past continuous tense, how to form affirmative sentences, how to form negative sentences, and how to form interrogative sentences, especially the yes-no question, we're using the past continuous tense. In addition to that, we studied the ing rules, and we also know that we can use both of the tenses, the past continuous tense and the past simple tense, at the same sentence, but the past continuous tense will refer to the longer action, while the past simple tense will refer to the shorter one. So, inshallah, next time we will do the exercises if we cannot do it today. So now we move to the other topic, which is about page 12 of your book. We had a very short discussion last time concerning page 12. which was a discussion lesson concerning the topic, which was neighbors, ideal neighbors. So the question is, now I want you to participate also today, because most of you didn't last time. So I want you to participate and tell me what makes an ideal neighbor. What makes an ideal neighbor? Or what are the qualities that you think should be present in ideal neighbors? Do not raise your hand. I mean, you can participate directly because I cannot see you if you raise your hands. If you want to answer my question, please do it directly. So you didn't prepare for today? For our discussion lesson today? ماكو جواب؟ ما حضرتوا اليوم عندنا discussion lesson عن ال neighbors؟ No answer again?
Say hello when I see them, and or when they see me.
Okay, you mean you think that an ideal neighbor is someone who greets you always, right? هو شخص اللي راح
Yes.
يحييك دائما, right? Okay, this is one thing. What else? What do you think that an ideal neighbor is? I mean, what are the qualities that he should have? ايش هي الصفات اللي لازم تكون موجودة بين ideal neighbor, الجار المثالي?
The ideal neighbor who are respectful, friendly, and helpful.
Yes, you think that an ideal neighbor is someone who is respectful, helpful, and what?
And
What else?
friendly.
Friendly. Yes. And what do you mean by friendly?
يعني ودودين.
Yes, how? I mean, how? How to judge that someone is friendly or not?
Don't make themselves at home in my house. Don't.
Yes, yes, they should not make themselves home at my house. Sometimes because they, I mean, they like you and they feel that they are close to you, so they feel like home when they are with you.
And they shouldn't come around to borrow things always.
Yes, they shouldn't always borrow things from us, because everyone, I mean, no one likes this action. Yes, that's right. Unfortunately, we cannot answer the questions concerning Mrs. Snell and Steve because of this disconnection that I experienced. So, concerning next time, inshallah, next lecture, first we are going to do exercises. المحاضرة القادمة إن شاء الله راح نحل تمارين. Second, we are going to answer the questions about Mrs. Snell and Steve. النقطة الثانية راح نحل الأسئلة اللي تتعلق بالسيدة Snell و Steve. Third, we are going to study the past perfect tense. النقطة الأخرى اللي راح ندرس بها إن شاء الله ال past perfect tense، الزمن الماضي التام. But of course, I mean, now today inshallah I will upload the files that you need, and I mean for the past continuous tense. اليوم راح انزل لكم ملفات اللي تتعلق وتحتاجوها يعني لدراسة الزمن الماضي المستمر، بالإضافة إلى أنه إن شاء الله خلال هذه الأيام راح أنزل لكم ملفات اللي تتعلق بالpast perfect tense حتى تحضرون، حتى ندرسها بالمحاضرة القادمة إن شاء الله. So, do you have any question? Do you have any question?
No, thank you, sire.
Okay, so if you do not have any questions, so I think that's it for today. So, but before we end this lesson, just want to tell you that you have, I mean, now it's just wait for me. I want to check what time is now. So now is 10:29. You have 2 minutes to leave the meeting, or else you will consider it absent. عندكم دقيقتين حتى تغادرون الدرس، وإلا راح تعتبرون غياب، لأنه كطلاب طبعا يفتحون الجهاز ويتركونه. So just wanted to remind you of this. So thank you and see you next time. Have a nice day ahead. Bye bye.